Now, as the war in Ukraine rages on and Russian forces escalate their attacks, French President Emmanuel Macron has urged Europe to be ready if Russia escalates.
In fact, in a television interview, Macron said that if Russia wins the war in Ukraine, the credibility of Europe will be reduced to zero. While addressing his comments to French opposition leaders, Macron said decision to block support to Ukraine will not choose peace, it will choose defeat.
Earlier this week, opposition party Marine Le Pen abstained from voting about a security pact France signed with Ukraine. Meanwhile, a left-wing party voted against it.
The French leader said if Europe draws red lines today, it will send a message of weakness to Kremlin, which will eventually encourage Russian forces to push on with its invasion of Ukraine.
However, Macron refused to comment on what a deployment to Ukraine might look like, as he says that France will never initiate an offensive against Russia.
In fact, last month, even remarks made by Macron caused controversy after he said that he could not rule out the deployment of ground troops in Ukraine in the future. And soon after his comments reached the other Western leaders, they quickly distanced themselves from Macron's views.
This comes after Russian Defense Ministry claimed that its forces eliminated 147 out of 256 French mercenaries that arrived in Ukraine. The ministry also added that overall the Russian forces have eliminated almost 6,000 foreign mercenaries till now.
Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said Ukraine is running out of ammunition, while adding that NATO members are not doing enough to help Kyiv.
The fact that the Russians are able to outgun the Ukrainians every day, of course, is a huge challenge. It's one of the reasons why the Russians have been able to make some advances on the battlefield over the last weeks and months. And therefore, it is an urgent need for allies to make the decisions necessary to step up, provide more ammunition to Ukraine.
Stoltenberg's comments come amid NATO's largest military exercise since the Cold War. Some 90,000 troops from the United States and fellow NATO allied nations are taking part in the Steadfast Defender 2024 drills.
The exercise started in late January and is expected to run through May all over Europe.
In terms of the environment, the weather is different. The weather patterns, both in terms of water temperatures, in terms of the undersea environment, winds, snow, it is a different environment. And to understand the Arctic, we have to work in the Arctic. And so the ability to have forces here working in the Arctic really increase our overall readiness as a NATO force.